Well, last Ceann Comhairle, I want to make reference to the issue of pay rates for new entrant teachers and also to the issue of big business funding for third-level institutions. I'll start with the latter. In his speech to the Dail on Budget Day, Minister for Public Expenditure and Reform Paschal Donohoe said, and I quote, "Ensuring that education remains the linchpin of our economic success now requires an intensified focus on a long-term funding model for the entire higher and further education sector." He went on to say, "The Minister for Education and Skills and I are therefore initiating a consultation process on the design and operation of an Exchequer employer investment mechanism to operate from 2018 onwards. This is also intended to help drive continued reform, quality and performance improvement across the higher and further education sector, in line with the objectives of the Action Plan for Education. I expect that a proposal will be brought to Government in this area by mid-2017, following the conclusion of the consultation process." Now, Cathaoirleach, I believe that these are key sentences in the budget statement given by Minister Donohoe, and that they have not to date been given sufficient attention either by the Dáil or by the media. So I'd like to make some comments myself. The Minister clearly seems to be opening the door here for an increased level of private sector investment in our third-level sector. This is in line with neoliberal trends in other countries, trends which are undermining the value of third-level education as we have known it. Writing about private sector investment in third-level education in Canada, Jamie Brownlee wrote recently in the journal Academic Matters, "Once underfunding has undermined the integrity and functionality of a public system, corporations and market-oriented bureaucrats are invited to come in and reinvigorate these failing institutions through restructuring or privatisation." Brownlee outlines how private sector investment in Canadian third level has, over time, number one, boosted the commercialisation of research, two, increased contract faculty working, three, resulted in increased coordination of university programmes and labour market needs to the severe detriment of arts-based courses, four, resulted in the appointment of management consultant company reps to the boards of universities, and last but not least, five, led to higher and higher tuition fees, with students being seen more and more as customers. In the United States, two individuals, brothers Charles and David Koch, donated $23.4 million to colleges and universities in 2014. Were there strings attached? Of course there were. Strings included control over the curriculum and the right to obtain personal information about students. Control over curriculum included the promotion of what were described as deregulatory government policies. In Britain, the Conservative government are turning the higher education system into a competitive, market-driven system. In 4 years' time, private providers will get the power to award degrees. For-profit business will have the power to use the title university, somewhat like the Trump University in the United States. Writing in the Financial Times, Martin Wolf recently commented, "The government proposes to turn third-level institutions into the equivalent of purveyors of baked beans." No doubt, Minister Donohoe will say that that can't or won't happen here. But that is what happens when big business gets a strong grip on third level. It would be naive to think otherwise. It would be naive to think that Ireland would take the same road as Canada, the US and Britain, but end up at a different destination. There needs to be far more debate about the Minister's proposal, and resistance to it should not be delayed until 2018. Now, the Labour Party motion states that it welcomes the funding of agreements reached with trade unions regarding pay levels for new entrant teachers. Cathaoirleach, the Labour Party used to support the principle of equal pay for equal work. Why is the Labour Party now, and Fianna Fáil, supporting a deal between governments and some trade union leaders which keeps in place unequal pay for equal work? According to the president of the largest secondary teachers' union in the state, the Association of Secondary Teachers in Ireland, Mr Ed Byrne, he says this morning that the agreements referred to in the motion will mean that a secondary teacher who joined the profession between 2011 and 2016 will earn €2,775 less next year doing exactly the same work as someone who joined the profession before 2011 with the same number of years on the clock. Would the Labour Party support pay discrimination on the grounds of race, gender or sexual orientation? And if not, why then support it on the grounds of what year you join a profession? In most cases, therefore, effectively, on the grounds of age. No doubt the reply will be that partial restoration is a step in the right direction. But you would not justify a mere partial bridging of a gap between workers with different skin colour. Why then justify it in this case? Equal pay for equal work is a principle and cannot be subdivided. Perhaps the Labour Party might argue that the example given above would be illegal, but that this is actually legal. So what? Votes for women was once illegal. The right to strike was once illegal, still is for Gardaí. Free speech was once illegal. Unjust rules and laws were fought and overturned by struggles from below. Never were they changed, by the way, by the establishment imposing fair play. Always they were won as a result of an organised fight against that same establishment. The ASTI are to be congratulated for deciding to fight for the basic trade union principle of equal pay for equal work, and we will be more than happy to back them in their strike every inch of the way.